Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you. We will now start with our scheduled session, and our first presentation for the morning is Where Do We Art From Here? And this will be presented by Tasha Dougé. And Tasha is an artist and a live person, and she will let us know. And then this presentation will be followed by a live question and answer with Tasha. So for now, now this is a pre-recorded session and the questions and answers will be live, okay? So let's start with our first presentation for MAC annual conference.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Tasha Dougé. I am a Bronx-bred, Haitian-infused, conceptual visual artist and performer, educator, self-proclaimed loudmouth, and cultural vigilante. I'm currently located in the South Bronx on Muncie, Lenape, and Wappinger land. I'm happy to be here with all of you to have this much-needed conversation. When disaster strikes and the dust settles, one of the first questions that follows is, where do we go from here? In March 2020, the world experienced a global shutdown due to the novel COVID-19 virus. Many facets of our lives have been and continue to be impacted while we battle this deadly disease. The art sector and cultural sector were decimated. Venues were closed, festivals canceled, museums and cultural spaces had to shut their doors. Without jobs and gigs that equated to millions of dollars lost in income and revenue. However, arts and culture are resilient and creativity will always exist. Over the last year and a half, art institutions and cultural centers had to quickly pivot in order to ensure their survival. But what about artists? Hence the question, where do we art from here? This moment has afforded us an opportunity to leave behind archaic and outdated ways of engaging with artists and shift towards systems that lend to sustainable livings for artists. Artists need to be tended to as a way of honoring their endless contributions. Artists need to be centered in these conversations because irrespective of the industry, like film, music, architecture, fine arts, and crafts, artists are the core components that keep things together. To start, there's money. Artists always need money. Artists should be paid an equitable and sustainable wage and not be offered a check for exposure. WAGE, which stands for Working Artists and the Greater Economy, founded in 2008, has done exceptional work in this arena. In 2014, WAGE established its own certification, establishing minimum standards of compensation to be paid to artists for 16 fee categories. So for organizations with a total annual operating expense of $500,000 or less, artists would be paid $1,000 for a solo show, $150 for a show that included six plus artists, $300 for an existing performance, and $100 for a talk. These are just some of the fee categories, and I'd like to emphasize that this is minimum payment that the institution has agreed upon and committed to paying the artists in order for them to be wage certified. To date, there are 96 institutions across the US that are wage certified. And as a result of wages efforts, over $8 million have been paid out to artists. FYI, Wage was also able to ensure that the artists that were involved in the 2019 Whitney Biennial were paid $1,500. I know, amazing, right? I know. I get responses that say, well, you know what, Tasha, our institution just doesn't have a budget. For one, artists are always in need of space. Not that space, this space. Institutions can offer up an empty room as a co-working space during the duration of the exhibition, or as a location for the artist to offer up a online workshop. An added bonus to this would be access to stable Wi-Fi. This current moment has magnified the digital divide. I'm not quite certain the numbers here within the US, but across the Caribbean, 40% of the population do not have internet. And access to digital inclusivity is a game changer. Aside from money, space, Wi-Fi, artists are always in need of resources. The emergency funds that were allocated specifically for artists was a tremendous help. If not all, but most of those funds have already been spent. It's like the story goes, if you give a man some fish today, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat forever. My suggestion is to offer some professional development, money management tools, digital trainings, access to lawyers as a legal clinic to discuss contracts, and or maybe some assistance with applications with some feedback. I don't know about y'all, but I have been currently using the same headshot for years. Getting headshots can be costly. Since exhibitions are usually documented, why not offer to have the exhibition photographer take professional headshots for the artist, in addition to providing exhibition photos of the artist's work? Having professional headshots and images are essential for applications and really can be the make or break from getting the residency or the grant. These examples of upskilling add value to the artist that they can turn into other streams of revenue. Speaking of other streams of revenue, institutions can also provide selling opportunities for the artist. That can be in the form of an online shop for the artist during the duration of the show, or adding a direct link from the exhibitions page directly to the artist's website. Last but definitely not least, referrals. Referrals. This could be referrals to other residencies, other funding resources, other institutions or artists that are looking for collaboration. A great example of sharing these referrals, job postings, and other opportunities is done through the Laundromat Project's alumni listserv. Their efforts serve as a reminder that the cross-sharing of networks is directly connected to our network. I also want to uplift connecting artists to mental and physical health services as a way for institutions to show that they value the artist beyond what they make. And before folks say that this is a lot for an institution to do, I would like to uplift organizations that did. In early August, 3 nonprofit organizations launched a new COVID-19 emergency relief program targeting artists, creatives, and cultural practitioners across the Caribbean. This pioneering pan-Caribbean NGO partnership was led by the American Friends of Jamaica, Kingston Creative, and Fresh Milk. They call the program Catapult, and indeed, it served to propel creatives in the region forward. Through 6 different areas, Catapult offers support where creatives could either receive cash or acquire key skills, including consultancy vouchers to build e-commerce stores, digital grants to enable artists to gain visibility online, a showcase for 40 Caribbean artists, live discussions, and 24 artist residencies. The support came in the form of US dollar stipends, vouchers for business services, or free training. Catapult casted a wide net, and as a result, had a wide geographical and linguistic reach, as the awardees hailed from 25 different countries that speak English, Spanish, Dutch, and French. Let me remind y'all, I am not coming to y'all from the outskirts of this dynamic. This very much impacts me as well, since I am an artist and art professional too. As artists, we produce records of our surroundings. We express emotions in a tangible, visible manner. We reveal truths that are either universal or hidden, and we help people view the world from a different or novel perspective. We are preservers of tradition, drivers of culture, influencers of capital, as well as catalysts and conduits for change. There has been ample time for reflection since March of 2020. And if we're going to recover, we need to restructure in order to transform for a more resilient future. The Caribbean has been overlooked as a key and formidable player in the arts sector. This is our time to tap further into the true potential of the Caribbean creative community and its diaspora. My hope is that MAC forges its way to the forefront, paving the way for other institutions and cultural spaces, especially in the Caribbean, to acknowledge the wholeness of artists and contribute to our sustainability. The alternative is to take your money and run. Thank you for sharing space with me. Thank you, MAC and the conference committee for having me. Now it's time to join me for the live Q&A.
Thank you so much, Tasha. I think we started to get an answer for our where do we art from here? So let's go now with the question and answers. Over to you, Tasha, and let's see what questions we have out there for you.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Tasha Dougé. Like I said in the video, I am a conceptual, visual, and performance artist, as well as a self-proclaimed loudmouth and cultural vigilante. So I'm super happy to be here with y'all. Again, I am situated on unceded Muncie Lenape land, and I want to honor those ancestors and those peoples as well. So thank you for coming to my session and listening to what I have to say. It was very mind-blowing to see not only the impact and the disregard of artists in a particular way, not only in the States, but in the Caribbean. But it really amplified our need to censor artists like myself and those in the audience today around our own sustainability, since we contribute ample to the art sector. So with that, if anyone has a question, I am here to answer any of those questions. I do have my own question. I'm curious to know, while people are ruminating the information, what is one thing or a few things that stood out to them through the presentation? Anybody? I don't know. Okay, so I see a question in the chat. What recommendations do you have for emerging artists in the Caribbean to keep going despite the obstacles, some of the obstacles? Oof, okay. I would say one, outside of research, I would seek out other artists. Well, I'm multidisciplinary, so I would just say reaching out to artists, even outside of your own practice, your own practice, because collaboration has been really helpful for me. People that I have collaborated with or had heard about my work in the past have referred me to other opportunities. And so definitely staying abreast with the community has helped offer, like, again, like I said in the presentation, I too am very much in this conversation. And when it was super, super tight, people that I've collaborated with in the past have referred me to other opportunities that led to multiple workshops with organizations that may not have known me prior to. Again, so the question that I had, is there any one thing that stood out? Because again, one of the things that I have found is that institutions might be scared to take on this ask to centering artists in a particular way that may require more monetary offerings or just the bartering. So I just think, I'm just curious to see what stood out for that. Another question that I have is tied to that. It's like, what do you think will prevent institutions from doing some of the things that I may have offered in the presentation? I mean, I guess it's just a super, I mean, it's a lot to take in, honestly and truly. This is not how most institutions operate, and I know it is a lot to digest. So I just wanted to get some of these nuggets out to the community, and not only give examples within the States, but also examples connected directly to the Caribbean diaspora. But if no one has any questions, I am more than happy to send it back to Susan. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you, Tasha. I think that everyone must have you. I mean, you were so complete in what you said that there were no questions. But thank you so very much, for telling us, talking to us this morning. Where do we art from here? Yes, we want to know, because we always think of, we never seem to think that art would be affected by, by any, disasters or anything like that. And from your talk this morning, yes, so COVID did affect you artists also. I just want to apologize once again to all our participants for the slight mishap we had with the meditation this morning, and the meditation breath works. The problem was, with all these time zones, that, there was a mix-up. So, but it has been recorded, and you will be able to get that meditation on, logging on, and you'll be able to get it. It has been recorded. Okay. So once again, Tasha, thank you so very much. And that concludes our first concurrent session. If in the meanwhile you feel that you have more questions, or if you want to connect directly with Tasha because maybe you're shy and you want to contact Tasha directly, feel free to click on the networking menu on the left-hand side of your screen, where you can scroll through the list of attendees and presenters and start a conversation. So Tasha, looking on you, because maybe there might be some questions there for you. Stay tuned for our next session, which starts at 9:45 Caribbean time, 9:45 Miami time, New York time, but it's going to be different in, let's say, the Cayman Islands. And our next session is here in this Zoom room, is facilitating community wellness at the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands with Maya Mutu. Okay. And to find the next session, you simply need to click on the sessions menu, scroll down to the list to find the next session on the schedule. If you have any questions, feel free to click on the chat icon on the lower left side of your screen to ask for help and to get guidance about how to navigate our conference platforms from one of our conference ushers. So we'll see you soon back here, right here in Zoom room 3. Thank you so much, Tasha. And thank you all for being with us for this first session.